our nephew Ben gave us some peaches from his tree. If you missed the video where I put some of them in the freezer, I'll link to that. I was making, what was I doing that day? I was making cucumber relish. That's what I was doing. We also used some of them to make some peach ice cream. It is so good. I will link to that in the description below, just the recipe that I used, just one I found online, but it was really easy because it only used 4 ingredients and it all come together really easy, especially if you have one of those ice cream makers you just plug in like we do. So it was so good. We're still enjoying it. There's one more thing I want to do with the peaches though before they, you know, peaches don't last long. They go bad on you. Now we've been eating some of them, especially Matt. He loves peaches. Ira likes peaches. Corey and Katie like peaches, and I like them too, but I just don't go around eating them as much as they do. So I think now after I make what I'm making today, we have 1 peach left from Ben. They have been so good though. And they are more of like a white peach. They're not real yellow, but they're real tasty. So what I want to make is peach bars. They are so good. Kind of more complicated to make than some of the things I make, but not too bad. And they look real pretty when you get them made. They're wonderful to share with others, thinking about, especially if you were going to a brunch or something like that. They go really good with Matt tells me a cup of coffee. I say a glass of milk, cup of hot tea, thinking about stuff like that. They almost take on the texture of like a scone or something. I don't know if that's really accurate though, because there's the peaches in it. They're really good though. And the recipe is in mine and Jim's cookbook, Celebrating Southern Appalachian Food. If you've not seen it before, I will link to it in the description below. So it's peach bars. So very tasty. A really delicate, crisp crust, and the peaches aren't overly sweet. Perfect with a cup of coffee or a glass of milk, just like I was saying. So I have this on the Blind Pig and the Acorn. I will link to it there. I think I have it on there. I hope I do. I'm pretty sure I do. And I will link to it there so that you can go and see the ingredients. If I don't, I apologize. I should have looked at that first. Let me just look right now and we'll see if it's on there. I'm pretty sure it is, but something in my mind says, are you sure? Yes, it's there. So I will link to that, but I will also go over it right now so that you'll know. There's kind of 2 parts to it. There's the filling part and then there's the bar part. Really you put it all together though, but there's two separate parts of it. So for the dough, we're going to need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon baking powder, a fourth of a teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup, which is 2 sticks of cold butter, and 1 egg. So I have all this, except I need to get my butter. I left it in the refrigerator so it'd stay cold. I really should have put it in the freezer because I'm going to show you how I'm going to use it, how I'm going to process it. Instead of just cutting it in cubes, I'm going to do something different. So for the filling, we're going to need 5 cups of peeled and diced peaches, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 1/2 cup all-purpose flour, 1 cup sugar, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon, and then 1/4 teaspoon nutmeg, and that's optional. It just depends on, maybe you like nutmeg, I do, but if you don't, you could certainly leave that one out. And really, you could leave the cinnamon out too if you wanted to. So first we're going to make the dough. We're going to mix the flour, the sugar here, and the baking powder and salt. And then we're going to cut in the butter with a pastry knife. Add the egg and cut it into the dough. And then we're going to divide the dough in half, and we're going to take half of it and put in, I've got a 9 by 13 pan over here. The other half we're going to save, but we're going to put both of them in the refrigerator while we do the next step. So you're going to put the pan in the refrigerator and the extra dough. And then I'll tell you how to do the filling when we get to that part. So first I'm going to get my butter and show you, instead of just cutting it up. I learned this trick from my friends here on YouTube, the Holmans, and it works so well. It would work better if I had put the butter in the freezer and let it get hard for a few minutes, but we'll try to do it anyway with just the cold butter from the refrigerator and see how it goes. Probably should leave some of them in there while I'm waiting. See, I was hunting that bowl. I've got my peaches in it. Maybe I'll get my big bowl. I have a lot of people ask me about the bowls that I use. These are melamine. They're Texas wire is the name of them. They were really popular in the 70s and I guess in the early 80s too. I have 3 that fit into this. Like this is not one of them, but one of the smaller ones and a medium-sized one. Miss Cindy gave me those. Those were my first ones I had. Since then, other people have given them to me because they know that I love them. When I was growing up, Granny had one. Actually, I'll get one. I leave one right here. It's handy. One this size. And that's what she used for biscuits, cakes, making cakes, anything like that. Just kind of like I do down there. She just kept it handy all the time. Her sifter sat in it in the cabinet. So she used it for anything like that she was doing. I bet hers probably come from Sky City or somewhere like that. I don't know. Now today you can still buy them, but they are expensive. Now there's melamine bowls that are new that are not that expensive. You could look on Amazon or one of the big box stores or something. But these Texas wire ones, sometimes you can find them on Etsy and on eBay. Sometimes they're very expensive. Sometimes you can get lucky and find them at a yard sale or a thrift store. That would be the best place to find them. So for the first part though, before we mix all that together, I'll show you the trick they showed me. I always, if a recipe was like this, I always just cut my butter into little cubes, and then I used my pastry knife to incorporate it into the dough. But they showed me how to use a grater like this. See, I should have put it in the freezer. If you put it in the freezer, it's better. Mine's already starting to melt with my warm hands, but still, it's doing pretty good. But if you do it like this, it's so small, it incorporates so much easier. I should have put it in the freezer though. There's your trick, or a tip to do that. And they give that tip, I just didn't do it today. I have in the past though, and it works like a charm. You could also though, if you don't want to do this, just chop it up. Go the old route, how I used to do it. Some of this is just smearing because my hands are melting it. It goes pretty quick though. It's just easier if you have it frozen. And you don't want it solid frozen, but I think their suggestion, and it works good, is put it in the freezer about 15 minutes. And that just keeps it cold enough that while you're working, it doesn't melt all over you like mine's doing. This is a lot of butter, and that's what gives that delicate little crust on the finished product. But my hands are getting greasier and greasier and greasier. I think that's about all I'm going to be able to get. Let me get my buttery hands cleaned up and we'll do the next step. Get my pastry knife. I love this pastry knife. I had other ones in my marriage since me and Matt's been married, since I had my own kitchen. And they were always so flimsy that if you bent, if you really pushed, they just bent. They were cheap. I just bought them wherever I bought them, really cheap. But I found this one. It's a OXO. I don't even know that brand. But I found it at a yard sale near Asheville when Miss Cindy was alive, and she lived in Black Mountain before she moved out here. That's Matt's mother. We would go to yard sales. We loved to go to yard sales and thrift stores. But one time at a yard sale, I remember what the house looked like, but I couldn't get back to it, I'm sure. But they had this laying there like for $1, and as soon as I picked it up, I thought that one will not bend, and I've been using it all these years later. Okay, we're gonna put our flour and baking powder. I was like, is that baking powder or baking soda? And the salt and the sugar. And I'm gonna stir it up a little and get that butter. Let it drop down in there. Now let's see if I can get all the extra. Okay, then you just cut it in. Okay, I about got it all cut in. Cutting in butter is a workout. You can also just use your fingers. Some people do that, just use it. That's how Granny does her, like if she's making biscuits, she just works it with her hands. Okay, I'm gonna put in the egg though, and then continue cutting it in. I think we're about there. Now, I'm going to divide it in half. Just kind of hard to tell when you've already got it in a bowl. And it's not like let me show you, it's not like a traditional dough when you think about, you know, if I'd added liquid to it and it would be really doughy. It's not. It's really just more of like a crumbled, as you can see. So we're going to put part of it, get my bowl, or my cake plate, 13 by 9, whatever I'm trying to say. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Let's see if I can make me a dividing line in the middle, and then just start putting it in. But all that sugar and the butter and all that, I think that's about half, will all just cook up together. And the egg and the flour. Now, got it patted in there good. I'm going to add a little bit more right here. Seems a little thin in that corner. Of course, you could be real precise and get you a measure and measure it out, but it's not necessary. It'll be fine. Just eyeball it. Okay, now I'm going to wash my hands and put these two in the refrigerator. I have to make room first, and then we'll make the filling, which is really easy. Here's my peaches that I've got cut up. So now for the filling, we're going to take our peaches. We got our peaches here, and we're going to gently mix in the lemon juice. Got the lemon juice there. In a separate bowl, I'm going to need another bowl. Well, I got one right here under me. Let's just do the first step. Let me get a clean spatula though. Okay, let's gently add in the lemon juice. It's got a lot of peach juice, which is going to be good. So we've done that part. Then in a separate bowl, we're just going to mix everything else together. So there's our flour, our sugar, and our salt and our spices. I guess I'm just going to use this one. Just going to mix it together. Okay. Now we're just going to pour that over the peaches and mix it in gently. This big measuring bowl, Cindy got me that too, and after she got it for me, she had one, and so she knew how handy they were. I was like, how did I ever live without that? I love those glass ones like that. I have various sizes of them, some of the 2-cup and 4-cup and a 1-cup one, but they are handy, especially because of the spout, and they're just easy to hold on to with the handle. Okay, got that all mixed up, and that's all there is. Now we just got to pour it on the top, and then we're going to crumble the rest of that. But first I'm going to clean up my mess right here, and then we'll do that part. Okay, we're ready for the last step before we get to put it in the oven. So that last step is we're going to pour the peaches over the chilled dough, and then we're going to sprinkle the rest of it over top of it. And then we're going to bake it at 375 for 45 to 50 minutes, depending on your oven. Might take less or more than that, until the top is lightly brown, and then you got to cool completely before serving. That's the hard part, right? Hard part. So as far as how long to chill it, usually when I'm making it, I do this step, put it in there, and then I chop up the peaches. So still, that doesn't take how long, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, something like that. So today I already had my peaches chopped up for you because I wanted everything organized before I started, and then I ended up cleaning up. So probably didn't take me as long as it usually does, but, and you know, truthfully, I've never tried it, but you might be able just to put it all in the oven right when you get it done, and it'd be just fine. I'm sure it would be. I'm sure though too, the chilling it does something for the butter. So So, smells good with all those spices and beautiful peaches there. So I'm going to spread that out. And then I've washed my hands, so I'm just going to use my hands to do this part. You could use a spoon if you wanted to. I'm funny when I sprinkle stuff. I like to, do you have a certain way you want to do it? Do you just do it however? I like to go around the edges first. I think I'm afraid I'll forget an edge. I don't want the edge to get left out. That's funny, huh? True, but funny. So then once I get all the edges, then I can concentrate on the middle. Most of the time I can't wait for this to cool because it's just so good, and I'm just not a big one on waiting. I want instant gratification, but when it comes to things like this, but if you do let it wait until it cools completely, it is easier to cut and just serves easier. It does. Okay, so that's all of that. You could use any other type of fruit in this too. I've always done it with peaches though because it's just so good, but I think blueberries would be good, strawberries would be good, probably anything you could think of. Apple would be good. Okay, I'm going to put it in the oven, and then once it comes out and it gets cool, I'll show you what it looks like, and you know I'm going to tell you what it tastes like too. This is what it looks like once it's finished. You can see some of the peaches poking up there. I've had it sitting out and it's been cooling down, and now we're ready to try it. It has a beautiful, nice crumb topping. No fighting over the peach bars. I about forgot about them. I was sitting back there working at my desk thinking it's about to get supper time, and then I thought, we never cut the peach bars. So they've cooled now. Let me get a spatula, I guess. They're still a little warm, but they've been cooling for several hours now.
You better cut me a little one.
A little bitty corner.
Yeah.
Looks really inviting.
Get us some forks.
I don't know how big a one you want either, Matt. It's about supper time. Wait the whole thing.
Listen, I ain't waiting on y'all. I'm about to just
You don't
eat a
have
bite.
to. Now you could, if you really wanted to take it up a notch, put some of the peach ice cream we made on it. You can see though it really firms up nicely after it cools. Takes it a while. What do you think,
It's good,
Katie?
all right.
Yeah.
It'll be real good with
Yeah,
ice
I know
cream.
it is. But
I don't think you judge that.
Peaches, butter, flour, and sugar. How could you go wrong?
Mighty good.
It's really, really good.
now, right now, because it was just made today, the crumb topping has a real crunch to it.
It does, don't it?
As you probably would guess, after it sits for a while overnight or whatever, some of that crunch goes away. But it's still good. It's just not as crunchy.
It was really, really good.
I like it so much, I put it in mine and Jim's cookbook.
Wow.
Mighty good.
It's not overly sweet.
I can taste the peach flavor.
The bottom crust is real tasty, but the top is real tasty because it's got the crunch. But it's amazing with just the butter and the flour and the sugar and the stuff that went in the egg in the bottom, how it really does firm up like a real crust.
Yeah, it does.
And
You
when
know.
you put it in there, it's real powdery.
Yeah. No, it did. It firmed up good.
Well, now that we've eat this, we don't even need no supper, right?
A few more scoops apiece and we'll all be full of sugar. Oh, that was good.
Well, thank you. You can go back to the dungeon now if you want to.
Okay, thank you.
Katie's working in her, she calls it her dungeon in her shop.
I got my sister on the phone too. I'm back. I've been talking to her.
You think this would go good with a glass of milk or a cup of coffee or both?
Well,
It's pretty good.
in fact,
You're gonna have to have some milk.
I am.
I've never tried it making it with like canned peaches, but I bet it would work just fine. I've always used fresh peaches, and because of that, I only make it in the summertime. If I made one of these for our nephew Ben, he might ensure that we got more peaches.
We're smart. It's like an investment.
He does always share with us though, and except for last year when they suddenly all disappeared, which I think was a person got them. Very good.
So what's for supper?
I think you're eating it. We've got some leftovers in the refrigerator, so you can warm those up. I thought you was gonna go to the garden and get us some corn.
You still want me to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was gonna have for supper was corn. You could have corn and leftovers. That way you get something fresh corn, but you got the leftovers, so it makes an easy meal. I think Granny put in an order for some corn too. You just take her a few. She'd appreciate it. Now you've got some sustenance to forage out to the garden.
I think that'll get me to the garden. I may have to have another piece after you get back home.
I'll wrap you up a piece and you take it with you. And if you get down there and get weak, you can start eating. You could just shuck the corn and start eating some of it.
That is correct. That stuff's good.
Yeah, it is really good. We're going to miss it when it's gone.
Yep.
Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing how to make the peach bars. If you haven't got a copy of mine and Jim's cookbook yet, I'll put that link in the description below. And I guess Matt's going to go get corn. I'm going to go back and finish what I was doing, and then I'll come cook the corn. And then we'll eat our supper, even though we've already had our dessert. Sounds like a plan?
We'll have some more of that again.
Yeah, we will. We're always glad when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia.